Another year, another Guy Ritchie film here on Rich Reviews. Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews. I just got out of seeing The Gentleman, the latest Guy Ritchie film. Now, let me confess here, folks, I've never been a Guy Ritchie fan. I have not been the biggest fan of his work. So when I went into seeing this film here, I did it with increased hesitation because, look, the cast looks interesting, but again, given Guy Ritchie's track record, particularly with me, I was less than impressed by knowing not to see this. So the film opens with an umbrella idea and then works within a film type of thing, in which a tabloid sleazy journalist, Fletcher, played by Hugh Grant, who's doing his best Cockney accent, or maybe that is his natural accent, marches into the home late at night to Mickey Pearson's concierge, played by Charlie Hunnam. Now, as I mentioned, because Fletcher is doing a blackmail scheme for whatever reason, and because Mickey Pearson, played by Matthew McConaughey, is in the marijuana trade, basically, and he's looking to get out. And basically, this is an excuse for Matthew McConaughey to regain some goodwill after what had happened last year with Serenity and the beach bum here. Mickey Pearson wants to get out of the drug trade. We see his flashback scenes of him growing up poor, and then going to an exclusive London university, and then marrying up and befriending the high society of London, particularly the aristocracy. And one of the more particularly interesting scenes here is that, we go into learning about how Mickey does his operation as to why he chose the aristocracy, because a lot of them are asset rich but caste poor. And that's the sad reality of most aristocracy these days, because they have these huge palatial estates, and you think to yourself, oh, these people are rich. Well, they're not. It's a sad fact of life. As I mentioned, he has an American buyer who is willing to pay him soon enough. The marijuana business will probably be legal in the UK, and so he'll make a hightail buck and get rich off of that. Now, of course, before he can do that, another guy named Dry Eye, played by Henry Golding, there's a small part of me that thinks to myself, if he's doing a British accent, can he be James Bond? If we have an Asian James Bond, that'd be wonderful here. And again, there are a handful of moments in this film that I think work, and obviously the one that I previously mentioned works, but also we have Ray here going into an apartment building, trying to find the daughter of a local lord because she's addicted to drugs. Now, how that scene plays out is actually quite fascinating. We first meet Colin Farrell. That's interesting. And if you want to see Lady Mary, yes, Michelle Dockery herself, do the F-bomb and do the C word a whole bunch of times, this is the film for you. And granted, there's at least one scene that probably wouldn't play well so many years later, because this script was probably written 25 years ago. I'm not the biggest Guy Ritchie fan. I just avoid Aladdin for whatever reason, and I get he wants to go back to his lock, stock, and two smoking barrel and snatch roots with a whole bunch of people who appear glamorous on the outside but are deeply rotten somewhere inside. The closest film that I've come to liking of his is probably The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and this is right up there with The Man from U.N.C.L.E. His films that okay, I'm glad I saw that, but I don't have to think about it afterwards. And then, of course, there's at least one scene towards the end or it's like there's a meta reference involving, there's a poster from a Man of U.N.C.L.E. from someone's back wall, and it's like, yes, Guy Ritchie directed Man from U.N.C.L.E. Isn't that a fabulous in-joke? As I mentioned earlier, Matthew McConaughey actually bothers to make a performance out of this. There are a couple of moments where it's like he gives voiceover narration, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, that's from a Lincoln commercial. But here, he bothers to actually show up and actually give a performance of a guy who wants to get out of something. And he's suave and he's debonair about it. And if I had a wife that looked like Michelle Dockery, I'd be wanting to get into her pants too. But that's just how the life works out. I'll tell you one interesting thing. One of the previews that before this film was showing, one of the things that they showed at the Alamo Draft House, in which I saw that was showing No Long Good Friday clip. Another film about gangsters. A film like this ultimately has a revelation about who is actually conning who and who is blackmailing whom, and who ultimately is indeed the bad guy. And, okay, that's fine enough. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about The Gentleman, I'm going to give this a subsequent weekend rating because, look, I'll be honest, there are some great moments here. But on the whole, it doesn't really work. I mean, if you think this works for you, congratulations. So, folks, The Gentleman, have you seen this? What do you think? Rank your favorite Guy Ritchie films. I'm on Twitter at Michael Rich at RichReviews2. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, and enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray, goodbye.